top poetry podcasts are produced by the Poetry Foundation. If you don't know the Poetry Foundation, a once reputable poetry organization in 2020. Do you know the story, Evan, that they forced their president out and some board members because when the 2020 riots happened, they wrote an open letter to the BLM movement expressing support, and they were insufficiently enthusiastic, so they had to be ousted and get new leadership. But,
I wasn't aware of that, but I'm not surprised. I mean, we've been kind of blacklisted by the library of the Shakespeare Library in DC, and everywhere we go, it's like people close doors on us and things.
So the Poetry Foundation, they've got a lot of the top podcasts. They have 10 or so. So I thought, why can't the Society of Classical Poets have a podcast? And then really the most important question, and for us and for humanity at large, why should anyone care about classical poetry? Is it relevant for us today?
That's an interesting question. I think classical poetry is, definitely relevant. There's people reading classical poetry all the time. It tends to be children, right? And, Dr. Seuss, things like that.
Right.
But the kind of poetry that speaks to people, the widest segment of people continues to be classical poetry. You have these big organizations like the Poetry Foundation, but they've worked themselves into this corner, and it's like a dying corner, and people hear the word poetry and they kind of, their eyes just glaze over and they're like, whatever, and it's because they've divorced themselves from real technique, real meter, rhyme, alliteration, very common things in traditional poetry.
So could you talk a little bit about how did the Society of Classical Poets come to be initially? So it's been, 10 years, 11 years now?
Yeah, going on 11 years now. And it was started by me and another poet or journalist. I was a journalist at the time at the Epoch Times with Joshua Phillip.
I'm sure Crossroads, yeah.
Yes, yeah. He does the program. He's the host of Crossroads on the Epoch Times. And we were just like, we've been submitting poetry to places, getting rejected, and we're like, realistically, we could have expected that we would be rejected because these people are publishing free verse or poetry that really, it just looks like a mess and it's hard to understand. And it's like, do I even want to be doing poetry? Like this stuff's terrible. And then we're like, well, wait, let's just start our own. The Epoch Times at that time was just getting started. We were very young at the time. And I was just out of college, and we had these ideas, and we went ahead and we started it. And Josh has been very busy, obviously, with his journalism career, but I've kind of taken over and run everything. And there are people all over the world. A lot of people in England, throughout the United States, obviously, Canada, Australia, and then sprinkled all over the world. So it's kind of an interesting mix. But just gradually, it's just as people learn about it, the most common comment I get is, whoa, this is great. I just found out about you guys. I've been looking for somewhere I could send my sonnet to or whatever.
But the website gets millions of views. You're clearly tapping into something that resonates with people. And yet, Wikipedia continues to say that you do not meet their notability guidelines. And they've shut you down right in the past. I mean, what is that really about? Just
I mean,
you just don't fall in line with their agenda. But
don't fall in line with their left-wing agenda, apparently. Yes,
I think it's a good thing. I mean, I think it's the fact that they are trying to shut you down that was a sign that I think you're doing something significant and important. Otherwise, they'd probably just ignore you.